Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This is the Edge of Liberty podcast.
Get ready for truth bombs, belly laughs, the kind of accent that turns car into a two-syllable adventure. Here's your host, Sean.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Edge of Liberty right here on the SHI Media Network. I'm your host, Backhead Sean. I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight, just like you are every Monday and Wednesday evening, right here in SHR Media. Shout out to KLIN Radio, carrying the simulcast. Thank you to Rick and the team over there. Got a lot to talk about tonight. But first, hey, you want to grab some swag from SHI Media, you can go to shimedia.com. Top of the page, click on the shirt. Looks a lot like, well, that. There you go. You can do that there if you want. Memberships are open, super chats are open, all the happy horse shit's open. We appreciate all of your support here on SHI Media. A lot to talk about tonight. Talk about socialists just love to spend money even when they don't have to. We're going to go to deep space. No, I won't talk about Uranus, but we will talk about deep space. Mike's in the chat. I saw Jersey Joe in the chat. O2's in the chat. And, of course, Canada Heavy Haul. How could you miss him? He's in the chat as well. You can be in the chat, too. Just go to SHI Media YouTube. You'll see a little circle with the Patriot, that little logo right here. Click on that, and you can get right into the live chat. So if you're watching on one of the other outlets, X, Facebook, which, thank you, appreciate you, Twitch, Kick, whatever it is. But if you want to join the conversation, we'll be right over here at SHI Media and YouTube. I'm going to get into all the topics tonight, and I'm going to start off in Iran. But first, this just popped up, and I didn't hear about this. And it's kind of international news. So a couple months ago, there was a drone incident between South Korea and North Korea. It may have been less time, even less time than that. But the South Koreans did a investigation, and it was a private drone. I should say that. It was not a military drone. It was not a South Korean military drone. There was an active duty South Korean soldier involved. So the South Koreans did an investigation, that rightfully so. I mean, it's still, the tempers over there are still much hotter than people realize. Just because you don't hear a lot about it doesn't mean that those tempers calm easily, because they've been up for years. And the South Korean president, Lee Jae-myung, issued an apology to North Korea and said, hey, we're really sorry. We the border went over. The drone went over the border. It shouldn't have went over the border. We're really sorry about that. And North Korea actually accepted the apology. It was by Kim Jong-un's sister, who's his number two. She called it a wise behavior, which is basically, I mean, for her to say that was wise behavior for the South Koreans to issue an apology, I mean, that's like hugging somebody you've had a war with, essentially. As far as North Korean statements go, that was warm. And you may not believe that, but that was actually a ridiculously warm statement from North Korea. And of course, it came with a warning afterwards about South Korea needs to stop reckless provocations, blah, 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 blah. But if you're looking for surprising good news, that's actually good news. I just saw it before I came to air. Somebody posted it. I did some research for it. I saw what was said, and I felt it was worth sharing. I felt the world's healing a little bit, even if it's over drones. Now we're going to go to the active conflict, which, of course, is in Iran. A couple days ago, an F-15 Strike Eagle from the 494th Fighter Squadron was reportedly shot down by Iranian air defenses. That was Friday, April 3rd. Both the pilot and the Wizzo, the weapons sister officer, ejected. And the pilot was quickly recovered. They didn't come down together. If you don't know how parachutes work, I can't help you. But they got separated. The Wizzo, the weapons sister operator, the backseater, as some people call them. I don't. I've never flown a jet. I'm just telling you what I've learned through the years. So I'm not going to claim here to be an expert because I'm not. I'm just telling you a story. The pilot was recovered, like I said, relatively quickly within 7 or 8 hours of it being downed. And the WSO, the weapons sister officer, hey, EOD operators in the chat, welcome, was reported missing for almost 48 hours. Now, I've done some investigation. Actually, EOD operator, I believe that you have some SEER training and have been involved in that. Have you not, sir? You can answer that in the chat room. But for 48 hours, the weapon system officer for the F-15 was in unbelievably hostile territory. Now, after he was shot down, the Iranian government was given a $60,000 bounty or more for this individual. The full bird colonel. My mouth is broken tonight. I'm tired. You'll have to deal with it. EOD, if you have a chance, can you jump back in? Because I do want to. I was going to talk a little bit about SEER training, and I thought somebody who has experience might actually be somebody worth talking to about it. For 48 hours with nothing but electronics to communicate, obviously, and a pistol. This guy was up in the mountains, and he evaded and survived, which is kind of the hallmark of SEER training, which we'll hear more about in about 14 seconds. And he was able to be recovered successfully. Was it clean? No, but none of the stuff ever is. Doesn't matter if it's clean. We'll get into some of the details here, but I am going to bring in, well, let's get rid of this. We don't need that. And then you can't be down there. You got to go up there. I'm down here. You're up there. You're the guest, for God's sakes. Of course, the host of Beer, Lyle, the host of Beer and Bullstein, who was broadcasting earlier. Can't hear you. You got to readjust your volumes. Joins us. For those who don't know, Lyle spent, was it 29 years in the Air Force? He has to think about
there
it.
We go. There we go. 22 years. 22
years.
The silky smooth sounds of Beer and Bullstein here on the SHR Media Network.
Is what I would describe you as. And in making his first full appearance here on the Edge of Liberty, I said 29 years only because I was looking at you and I was like, it had to be close to 30. That's the only reason.
I'm old. I get it.
So this, I'm sure, tell people a little bit about your background and why you know SEER training. Of course, you're in the Air Force, but before everyone comes and says, well, he doesn't know and he doesn't know, and of course you fucking know, it's you.
Oh, I hear you. I was 22 years. I was 22 years explosive ordnance disposal technician. I did a lot of things. First and foremost, it was a bomb disposal. I went to SEER school when SEER school was not cool. Back when they used to beat the hell out of you, try to get a confession out of you. Kind of if you can remember G.I. Jane, that's actually a really good example of what SEER school used to be when they used to beat the shit out of you. Yeah. That was kind of what we went through. Survive, escape, evade, or resist, survive, evade, resist, and escape is what SEER stands for. And I'm going to tell you right now, anybody who has to do it for real has my ultimate respect.
before we go into that, because this story is absolutely freaking incredible, but people don't know pilots. A lot of people who have a risk of being caught behind enemy lines in high risk situations go to SEER school. That's the easiest way to dumb it down, right? I mean, that's
absolutely. Anybody who's going to be well, there's two different versions. You got the holy crap high risk people, and then you got the I might be down there,
right?
Like 3-day correspondence course.
That's the one where they give you like 12 MREs on the first day, and they'll be like, "You'll get through this. Don't worry.
You'll get through this." Hold your hand while you're sitting on the toilet. Bear down.
This Air Force pilot obviously went into the holy shit SEER school.
Yes, he did.
And their whole purpose of SEER school is, in this situation, if your aircraft goes down, you eject, and you're now in hostile territory, being surrounded by the enemy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on one second. I'm answering a question from Mike in the chat. A good dude, so I didn't want to leave him hanging. And it teaches you everything from how to create hides, how to erase your tracks, how to survive off the land, how to avoid detection, yada, yada, yada. And it's an unbelievably intense school. And we have proof that it works.
What to eat, what not to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Right here with this full-board colonel. So they punch out. I think they ended up with a missile up the tailpipe, so to speak. They punch out. The actual pilot himself, not the WSO, they get him with 7 hours, which I thought that was absolutely freaking amazing. This story is incredible. Don't get me wrong. I want to give it its due diligence. But I don't care how you feel about this conflict with Iran. I don't care what your thoughts are on the politics of this all, and I'm talking to the listeners. The reality of the situation is this shows you just how unbelievable our military is. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, to enter a completely hostile territory, and it wasn't on the edge of the water. It wasn't like these guys were on the ocean and we just kind of zipped in a rib boat, grabbed them, and snuck out. They were pretty fucking far inland.
True. And if I can interject there, the reason just looking at the logistics and why we got the pilot versus the Wizzo, the two, like, why weren't they together? Why weren't they closer together? Just looking at these logistics of that, sounds to me like the Wizzo ejected first. The pilot rode it in a little bit, trying to get closer to the coastline. And you couple that with the fact of this guy was a full bird colonel. This guy was a flight commander. All right, they don't put full bird colonels in jets unless he's commanding an entire sortie.
I thought that was a little suspicious myself, actually.
Yeah.
Why he would be up there. So I'm guessing, and if I'm not mistaken, this was a night that they put out a lot of ordnance that evening when this happened. And I'm sure that this might have been actually the command plane as far as the fighter squadron goes.
Oh, God,
That's my absolutely dullard guess. You affirming that makes me feel a little bit better.
Oh yeah, that and saying that the pilot rode it in a little bit was probably to make sure the maydays went out correctly, make sure that the positions were addressed correctly, and all that other good stuff. So kudos to that pilot to hold on to that thing as long as possible.
And also so people would follow the plane and not the full bird colonel who punched out prior
bing, bing,
and
bing.
separated.
Hold on.
Right, the boss is in the back seat. Imagine the stress of already having the boss in the back seat. Right, you take one to the pipe. You're now, your systems are coming apart. You've already said, all right, I have to eject. Your day's already bad. Right.
That's a shitty day.
And then he turns around and he's like, oh shit, now I got to ride this even longer. Because I have the full bird colonel sitting in the back seat. I'm already going to hear about this anyhow. I may as well make the most out of it and do whatever I can. Canyon videos, the pilot sounded like he wasn't doing something right. I don't even know how you would know that. I don't know how you would know that, other than the fact that he got shot down, which happens, unfortunately. And I'll tell you right now, he could have been drawing fire intentionally if something went tits south. We don't know. We weren't there. So to say he did something wrong, I don't know. But what I do know is his action after he was struck is pretty incredible. And again, I'm not a pilot. You're not a pilot. I can't talk to the pilot side of things there.
I'm
can
sitting
tell you
in a pilot's chair.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a special pilot's chair too,
Right.
a computer pilot. I fly this computer like a madman. So they punch out. Obviously, the plane separates, and he hits the ground, and he's in mountainous territory, which he was injured either during the injection or on the ground, which landing in stiff peaks and cliffs. It could have been either one where he got hurt. That hasn't come out yet. And then everybody knows in that region. Yeah, you're just bragging, you bastard. Some of us have to be grown up tomorrow. No, so then he hits the ground and he's in hostile territory. Everybody in the country, he knows this. Anybody who is a supporter of the now former government, if you will, they're still there technically, but they're not really in charge, is looking for him, including the IRGC. And that is huge leverage. And as we pointed out before, not nearly as fun as the Guinness. As we pointed out before, he's a full bird colonel. That's a big, big, big trophy, so to speak.
As someone, if they're putting out a $60,000 bounty, let me put it this way: EOD techs, since the beginning of the GWOT war, had a $50,000 bounty on each one of our heads.
Right.
From the beginning. So, as someone who still has a $50,000 bounty on his head, come get it.
Yeah.
We'll split it. That's big money. You know, that's life-changing money right there. That being said, that's amazing that he's even like still alive to even tell the tale, you know.
Yeah.
So, and from what I'm understanding, not to get too far ahead of you, there was some bodies.
Yes. So that's the other thing, and I have yet to see that officially confirmed. But and for people to be reminded too, when you make full bird colonel, you're not necessarily a young man. And I'm not saying he was old
you're my
and out
age.
of shape. Yeah. I'm not saying he was old and out of shape, and I'm not saying he didn't keep up with himself and his tactics and all that other stuff. But as you and I both know, you start to, Boyd's 100% right. The pilot had to fly what was left of the plane until they got out. 100%, sir.
Absolutely.
But you start to get to a certain age, things get harder as you get older physically.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind when you're punching out of a F-15 going Mach Jesus.
Right.
And then you
Mach,
float
oh my
down.
God, is a really fast speed. I'm telling you.
If anyone ever has a chance to go online, they're on YouTube, talk to pilots or interviews with pilots who have ejected, and just what a frightening series of events that is in of itself. And he landed and he's surrounded. And it wasn't, hey, Mission Ready Men's in the chat. Good evening, sir. And it wasn't like he was in a mountain region that was fairly unpopulated. It apparently was a very populated, for that area, mountain region. And people were driving up to find him from the villages, including the military. So he now has to go into hiding, injured either on landing or during the injection. He was injured from the get-go. And they say that he was hiding in crevices, he was hiding in ditches, he was hiding in caves. Absolute amazing situational awareness, which SEER training
Armed with nothing but a pistol, mind you.
9mm, right?
Yep.
And a radio. Now, I always say too, all the training in the world is great, but you and I both know that for some people, when the rubber hits the road, some things don't always go well. And this is one of those situations where it sounds like the exact opposite, that when the rubber hit the road, when it was time for his SEER training to kick in, he went, I mean, if the bodies are true, if that story is true, that he dropped a couple in the process and was still, and you know as well as I do, not that I've been there and I don't claim to, but when you're in a situation like that, when you're one person and you get into an engagement with an enemy force of whatever that force is, it's only a matter of time before they surround you, right? Because they know they have you pinned into this quadrant. They're going to spread everybody out. They're going to do a standard search pattern, and they'll accordion in until they find you and kick the dirt. He allegedly engaged the enemy, dropped a few just for good measure because he's already the main character in the story. Let's face it. He's
wearing plot armor.
100% wearing plot armor, as the fat electrician would say. Like, this dude was, and apparently, but I'm going to talk about this in a second because this is the antithesis of when you know it's somebody's an actual badass is when they don't have to say it. Hits the ground and
no hedging policy. I'm already there, brother. I'm already there.
I mean, yes. You know?
I'm not even breathing hard. Just for the record.
I had this show title for 14. Let me rephrase that. 9 years. I started this show full time. I've done other shows full time, as you know, almost 2 years ago, and nobody's ever made that joke in chat. I've made that joke, but nobody in chat's ever made that joke until a Cast Blast shows up. So, Cast Blast, thank you so much for that. That was fantastic. So, Badass hits the ground. He evades. He's running through the mountains of Iran, rather. Sorry. And he gets in some sort of engagement where he drops a few. And then he turns around and he disappears again. And that's the magic trick in all of this. I mean, to be able to disappear again after engagement is incredible.
There are some tricks to the trade that they teach you.
I'm sure, and I don't even want to hear any of them because I'm one of those people, I don't like to give edges to anything. If it's out there and if it's public, that's great, but just
no, it's definitely tradecraft. So yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
We don't need to talk about that. And then comes the rescue, which in of itself, thanks, Cast Blast. I appreciate it, my friend. And the first thing, it's so funny because there's two things that I saw liberals on social media doing. First and foremost, being glad that this colonel was shot down, or this F-15 was shot down, and rooting for the Iranians, which was absolutely fucking mind-blowing to me. So that was it. And then talking about the amount of money spent during the rescue, because we lost a C-130, or two C-130s. We lost the F-15, obviously, on the initial, and I didn't do this math. Habitual Line Crosser, who's an awesome military source on YouTube, if you like air defense. He's great anyhow, but he's an air defense wizard. He was he was in the Army for a long time, and he did the math, and it was like 0.0027 of our overall military defense is what was lost in equipment that day. So not really, I mean, it's a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money. So they launched everything to go get this guy. Pararescuemen, which for a lot of people who don't know, the Air Force does have special forces.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
Seven career fields, actually.
Yeah. Pararescuemen being one of them. And amazingly, for as much recognition as they've gotten through the years, a lot of people don't know that pararescuemen are the special forces, and they're killer docs is what they are.
They're literally surgeons without the surgery part. Well, I take that back. They actually do surgery. These guys are literally doctors with bullets and guns and all that other good stuff.
And they're brutal. And if you think, and as a friend of mine described me, because I've met a few pararescuemen, if you think Navy docs are brutal, that the ones that get assigned to the Marines, wait till you meet a pararescueman, because they will absolutely kill everybody to save that one guy or die trying. And they have the technology, and they are badasses.
And their motto is "so others may live."
Yeah, and they take it very, very seriously.
Yes,
so you get that. SEAL Team 6 was part of the search as well. I don't need to go into much more about SEAL Team 6. I think everybody knows their story pretty well.
Pussies, excuse me.
You had some small aircraft, and I forget, I was trying to pull it up, but I was going through so much stuff that I didn't get a chance to write down. There was 2 small prop planes that was assigned specifically to special forces that I'd never heard of. The grin says everything. And I'm guessing they're full of equipment and people to show up if need be and eradicate. You care to elaborate any that you can?
They're glorified crop dusters.
Yes. No. So you're talking about, I know the one you're talking about. They took the Sky Tractor and armed it. That's the one that you're talking about. And that was deployed as well. This was an optics plane, and it's smaller than the C-27 Spartan. It almost looks like a Metroliner, except it's dual prop instead of a single prop from the quick video that somebody took of it. And the military's not talking about it. A couple people were asked directly, and they were like, yeah.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that, which is kind of funny because that just makes me want to, and part of me is like, at some point they're going to come out and be like, yeah, it was just really optics and something like that. And it was just fun to jack with you all. But the reality of the situation is it's not a lot of stuff in our military that when the video shows up online, does people go, I don't know what the hell that is. I've heard of something like that, but I still don't know what the fuck it is. That does not happen much in this day and age. So they send everybody out to go get this dude.
You got combat controllers. You got what is it called? Special reconnaissance. You've got PJs. You've got SEER guys, actual like Air Force SEER guys.
Yep,
they're part of the CSAR teams. Those guys don't get enough credit. They don't just run the SEER schools. They actually go out on these missions. They are the biome. Guys. They are the biome experts. They're the ones that tell you how to survive in these environments and how to look for people in those environments. There's a number of guys that go out there, and that's just Air Force. I mean, they are the CSAR kings outside of the Coast Guard, in the sea.
Yeah, and you mentioned combat controllers. That's another special forces in the military. A lot of people don't know a lot about. It was described to me.
That's because the Air Force is a true quiet professionals. Just saying.
Yeah, so true as you're sitting there bragging. Brag. But combat controllers essentially are a single person who can call in the hellfire of the United States military all at once, and can call in so much equipment at once that they actually have to be certified air traffic controllers, on top of passing special forces school, on top of just being general badasses. And usually they're attached to others individually, to other special operations groups for support, but they also run in their own packs. And these are the guys who, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know this firsthand, but first Desert Storm, they were in Iraq 2 weeks before the first, at least before the first.
They're running all over Iran right now. I'm going to tell you that.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere because they're the ones who are directing everything. And I only know that because somebody who I knew much more than I probably wanted to at the young age of 18, Tech Sergeant Sanchez, had the scars to prove it and told us the entire story. And it was, he was a badass. Good dude. Super good dude. But
sorry, I hear the Sanchez.
Back in the early 90s, when things weren't as accurate, he had an L-shaped scar on his head, and he's like, that's because the drop was off. That's how close he was. And that's how much confidence they had back in the day. They still have, to be able to drop ordnance and go, no, we're fine exactly where we're at. It's going to be 200 yards that way. Just hunker down.
Don't make me take my shirt off. I'll show you a few.
Oh, I know you have a few. So they go out and they get him. And now the CIA sent out false information to the IRGC with false coordinates and
badass
false radio traffic that they had intentionally ready to go, which is even funnier because it's like when you're prepping for these missions, just someone turn around and go, oh, by the way, we need fake radio traffic. So if somebody gets shot down, we can start playing it to direct them to the wrong places. And that's exactly what they did. And so then they go in, they land the two C-130s in a field. Unfortunately, much like 79, the outcome was much the same, where we had to blow them in place so nothing could get taken. And those aren't regular C-130s. That is
they're MC-130s.
Yeah. And they're not just MC-130s for transport. They're set up to have a whole bunch of other stuff in it based on who they were carrying that evening. So they had to blow them, because I already saw a couple people like, why would you just blow a couple of C-130s? Like, they have our F-14 C-130s, a much older airframe. And that was my first thought is, no, it's what was inside those C-130s.
As someone who has blown up a few C-130s, yeah, they needed to go.
Yeah, exactly. Listening Post is in the chat room, sir. Thank you very much for being here. The Phantom lurked in. I saw the Phantom as well. So you have the full force, and the United States military goes inland in Iran, where, yeah, we have air superiority, and we do. I mean, they got lucky with the missile, but people pointing that out as some sort of victory is even more hysterical to me, because you think of the amount of aircraft that we've flown through Iran over the last several weeks and the amount of ordnance that we dropped, and they finally got one officially. They may have damaged an F-35, right?
You're right. Out of the 12,500 plus sorties, they've shot down a plane.
And let's be honest, 100%, we don't know if that was a friendly fire incident or not yet. That could be that actually has a higher potential of happening than the Russian or Chinese air defense that we beat in Venezuela, and we've been beaten the entire time here in Iran, was suddenly accurate.
I mean, let's face it, not everybody likes their commander. I mean, just saying.
So hypothetically, let's say it was a
hypothetically.
Let's say if it was a friendly fire incident. Can you imagine the flight back for the other plane that accidentally launched? Holy shit!
Could you imagine the medal citation, the actual the citation to accompany the award of, if it was a friendly fire?
Does he still get
even though your own men shot you down, you did.
I want to know the aircraft, if it is friendly fire, does he still get to mark his plane with the kill? That's what I want to know.
That's a great question.
Yeah, they lit up an A-10. Boyd was saying in the chat. But, of course, the A-10 can fly with no wings and no engines. That thing is just a beast, and it made it back. There was a great story from Iraqi Freedom of the female pilot. I forget her name. She was flying an A-10, and it was shot to shit. And she was like, as I was coming into landing, half my wing was missing. One of my engines was starting to sputter. She had no hydraulics left in the plane. She had to put the landing gear down by hand crank. And it was something, they counted something like 250 rounds in it. And every vital system got hit at one time or another. And they actually repaired that airframe, and it got sent back out again.
I got one better for you. During the first Gulf War, there was Lieutenant Colonel Swain. Actually, he was Lieutenant Swain at the time. He's the only A-10 pilot to ever, and this is actually where it comes back to the SHR Media family. Lieutenant Swain was shot up so bad he had one engine, he had no horizontal stabilizers, he had half a wing on the left, he had a quarter of the wing on the right.
Sounds like me after a night of drinking.
What's that?
Sounds like me after a night of drinking.
Exactly, right? He lands at PSAB Air Base in Saudi Arabia, all right? He has them download all of the ordnance off of his aircraft because this thing is shot to absolute shit, okay? And guess that, watch this. And I got beer delivery. Anyway, he gets shot to shit so bad. They're like, this thing will never fly again. He goes, bullshit, download it, refuel it. They download it, they refuel it. He takes every inch of runway, takes off, and flies it back to his fob. Did you know? Fast forward to 2009. Colonel Swain is pinning a Bronze Star on this guy's chest.
No shit.
Me. He is the only A-10 pilot to get an air-to-air kill ever.
Was it another aircraft or?
Yeah, he shot down a Hind 27.
That's what I was going to ask, if it was a rotorcraft or if it was a jetcraft. Which is amazing, because for people who don't know, the A-10's primarily designed for ground support. It's not necessarily, it has the ability to air-to-air, but that's not
it's mainly for tank killing.
Yeah, it's for tanks, and as we've learned, other things that are easily affected by depleted uranium, and it's not very fast. It's agile.
No, it's slow as shit.
It's slow as shit. It is agile as a son of a bitch. It's pretty amazing in that regard. Yeah, and it was a Hind 24, and oh god, it's just crazy that you got that pinned on your chest. All right, so now that we're bragging, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's not bragging. That's just reality.
That
was a brag.
So they go in and they find this guy who is transmitting, obviously, because that's how they got his location. So he's following the transmission protocols. There's a whole bunch there that I kind of know a little bit about that I won't talk about. And they were able to go in and snatch him out, blow up the planes before the Iranians knew what the hell happened. They were still listening to the recording of where they were trying to tell them that he really was where he wasn't.
It's amazing.
Unfreaking believable. And I'm going to piss through the break because I might as well keep you here till 9 now. You're stuck. I'm
easy. I got beer.
And then come to find out, he is apparently, and I said earlier, I don't want to out everything. From everything that I've read about him, for the people that know him, that have, everyone talks, blah, 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 apparently the nicest guy. Doesn't mean that he doesn't do his job well. But apparently he is like one of those people that you wish you knew in your life. That's what I keep reading over and over again, is that he was a super good dude, a good leader. All of his people really loved him. But just
rescued on Easter.
And apparently the first thing he said is God is good. So that shows you his beliefs, and it's pretty.
You know what? Regardless of his beliefs, let me put it this way: as somebody who's been there are no atheists in a foxhole.
Yeah, I was gonna say
there is absolutely no atheists in a foxhole, and you know what? God is absolutely good. He's fucking great to bring this guy who despite all the odds. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, holy crap.
Well, and you look at, all the reports is the Iranians didn't see it coming. They had IRGC and a whole bunch of people in that area looking for him, but they did not know the teams were en route. And apparently when the teams exited the helicopters and hit the ground, they just leveled a bunch of IRGC folks that were in the area. Is that shocking to you?
You'll love to see it.
So you got to think of Venezuela, and this is where, like, modern combat, you got to think of like the enemies of our country, right? Where they're already shitting chickens, because these are the regular IRGC guys. These aren't the ones you're seeing on TV, and these are like the guys who are making a couple of hundred pennies a month. And they're like, well, I either find this guy or I get shot, so I guess I'll go find this guy, right? I mean, that's
they can get $60,000. I mean, come on.
Well, and where's Iran going to get $60,000 at this point? Their banks have been blown up. And then all of a sudden, it's got to be in the back of your mind of, they snatched the Venezuelan president, and nobody knew about it in Venezuela except for the 25 people that were right there until after it was going on. Like, what am I going to do if these fuckers show up, right?
Oh, Jesus.
That's gotta be.
And then
in
all of
the
a
back
sudden, a
your
bunch of
mind.
Delta guys pop out.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, I could be walking down the normal, like a street, just broad daylight, and if I saw a bunch of Delta guys pop out, I'd be like, fuck. Like, there's, what do you say at that point, right? Your host.
I hate to tell you this. If you saw a bunch of Delta guys pop out, you weren't the target.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, too. It all depends on what information somebody might have. But I don't have any information, so that would probably be the last thing I see.
Be like, oh. And that'd be the end of it right there.
And this goes back, and you and I remember this, obviously, Scott O'Grady. The recovery of Scott O'Grady back in 95. And then Roger Locker in 72. Most people don't realize that was one where we were in North Korea for a while looking for him in 72. Because that was obviously years after the armistice, so shit went south in a bad way as well, and that was all the PJs and all the Spec Ops guys back in the day. So we have a history. It's bad enough to think that the U.S. military is pissed at you. It's bad enough to think that they're dropping ordnance on you. Then, by chance, if you happen to get one, or if it was friendly fire, you have the chance to capture a U.S. military member and potentially use him for ransom, hostage, whatever they were going to do. You know, we all know the trick. We saw the videos from Somalia. We know what they do. But then you have to realize, oh, shit. There are people coming to get him, and they're not even like regular people coming to get him. These are caged animals that are just looking for a reason, and I mean that with all due respect.
These are the guys that are paid to work out, eat creatine straight from the bottle, drink Bud Light, not because they like it, but because they're just pisses them off. And then we say, those guys have the good beer. Go get it.
they have the stuff you actually want to drink. But you got to think, how demotivating is that for a foreign adversary to think, okay, even if we get lucky enough to get a couple of their aircraft down, well, now we got to deal with the craziest fuckers that they have. And I don't mean crazy like completely unhinged. I mean crazy like insanely tactical, intelligent, and will not hesitate. As a matter of fact, it's whatever the opposite of hesitate is. That's what they do. And now they're going to be coming for the guy you want me to fucking No. I don't want any part of this.
No, I'm going to go home and have Hezbollah with my mother. Hezbollah.
So absolutely incredible.
We're
all glad he's home safely. We thank
Absolutely.
everybody involved in that operation. I really, really, really hope it wasn't friendly fire. Regardless
if it was friendly fire or not,
I just meant to shoot down a full bird colonel for that guy, that one guy.
Shit happens.
Imagine if there was an F-22 flying cover. The only kill the 22 gets in all of this.
The FF-22 finally gets an air-to-air kill.
Oh man,
poor habitual line crosser.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
The kid's so pissed.
Sorry, dude. No, I mean, regardless if it was friendly fire or not, or what have you. I mean, I'm glad the colonel's home safe. He's going to go home to his family, with minimal injuries. I mean, that right there. I mean, God is great, and that right there is just a testament to how good this world actually can be, and with teamwork and just the credo that we don't leave a man behind, comes to it, and it's a testament to how this administration has changed over the previous administration.
That would have been bargaining for him.
Well, we don't leave a man behind. Well, the last administration, we left a shit ton of men behind.
13.
And it really boiled down to is, and we saw it with the recruitment numbers. Like, why the hell would I put my life on the line for a country that's just going to let me go out and die?
Right.
Whereas in this one, we'll burn down airplanes to come get you.
Yeah. We'll blow our own shit up. That's almost like a flex, too. It's
right?
like,
I'm going to burn down my own shit just to come get your ass.
While we're here, we're just going to blow up our own planes just for fun and take the rotors out because that's just a lot easier for us right now. So, yeah, it's cool. We probably could have swung in at some point and grabbed those, but, yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it.
And what did Iran get for its efforts? This is Tehran this evening.
Oh, I love the fireworks. You got to love it.
Congratulations, you might have shot down one of our planes. Say goodbye to your airport. It's a trade-off. I mean, really. I want to move to New York, and then I'm going to be quick on this because I want to spend more time in outer space because that's such a cool story, and I don't really talk about stories like that. So Mondami, as you know and our listeners know, was a little bit of a budget crisis when he started doing the math with what he was promising and what they actually had money to do. Just a little bit, to the tune of, what was it, $9 billion or some ridiculous amount of money. It was stupid. So his plan was, well, we're not going to cut stuff. Instead, we're just going to start raising taxes on everybody, going into the city's slush fund and the retirement fund to take money from people that have already paid into that, who are depending on that. Let's fuck around with that. And the city council member, her name is Julie Menon. I don't know if she was trying to save his career. I don't know if she's trying to save her career, but she turned around and said, well, we don't have to do all that. We can make this happen. And essentially handed him a plan that would have found $6 million in alternative resources to close the budget gap. According to the notes, the money was found by auditing wasteful Department of Education contracts and recognizing $860 million in unspent funds on vacant city positions. Rather than accept the findings, Mondami went to the press conference and called the council's numbers an April Fool's Day joke. So no, I prefer to tax the shit out of everybody, and he's not backing off his policies. So, and I don't know this council speaker from a hole in the wall, but it sounds like she either was like, hey, all the shit that they kept saying you were going to do and destroy the city, you're about to do it, and here's a get-out-of-debt-free card. I'm going to hand this to you, and you're going to say, oh, look, we found the money, and we'll talk about the rest later. And he was like, fuck no, I'm not. I'm actually going to spend even more money. Go ahead.
No, he was like JoJo, the idiot circus boy with his pretty little pet. And the pretty little pet was debt-free. But he's sitting there going, I love my little pretty pet. And I just want to sit there and I love you. I want to stroke it and massage it. You're naughty little pet, debt-free. And then I just, oh no, I killed it. I killed my pretty little pet.
It goes to show you that socialists will do everything they can to raise your taxes and spend your money, even when they don't have to. They're just looking for another fucking reason to do it. So
that's because all they can see is the what have we done and how have we spent all of this shit to do something.
Yeah.
Rather than
maybe something.
How about we got the fuck out of your goddamn way
and just let you survive and live. And raising the taxes on the up to 9 or 10% that they were talking about doing on the highest earnings, guess what that led to? A shitload of U-Hauls for people going, yeah, we're out. We don't want.
Yep.
We see this.
See ya. We're going to Florida.
California, at the threat of doing the billionaire tax, couldn't get enough U-Hauls into the state to move people out. LA still has more people moving out than in. People don't talk about that. That's a verified fact. This is what happens when the socialists take over and they try to overtax the shit out of the people. They try to make everything impossible and they can't get out of the fucking way and just let people survive.
I live in Massachusetts.
Oh, I know.
Did you know that every once in a while, just for fun, I like to look up U-Hauls?
I do have to give Boston some credit. They booed Mayor Wu and Governor Healy at opening day of the Red Sox game.
Well, that's because we have some actual thinkers around us, but they're not going to change their damn voting habits.
Yeah.
So it boils down to this: the U-Hauls aren't here.
I would, if I were you, if you wanted to invest in a company, I would open a U-Haul. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it and then retire forever. All right, we got 10 minutes left. You stayed much longer than I expected you to, just given the fact that you broadcasted for an hour and a half and you've been drinking all night. So I applaud you.
I've been drinking for like most of the afternoon.
Hell. Let's go to outer space now.
Yes, sir. I love outer space.
I know you probably don't know Listening Posts all that well. He's the Lost Wanderer. He shows up on our Sundays occasionally when he feels like it.
That's the Lost Wanderer?
Yes, Jeff is the Lost Wanderer. Jeff
hey,
is
welcome.
Jeff is the alien. If you've ever met Jeff, there's a good chance that Jeff is from another planet. And he agrees with that. His intellect is astounding. His intelligence is off the charts. And he just sees the world a little bit differently. Like, I don't know. And so, they call it the 30,000-foot view. He's from a couple of light years away instead of 30,000 feet.
I like it. He's Andromeda. I love it.
100%. So Artemis is up there. And while Artemis is up, and I do want to talk about Artemis, Tim Burchett drops a bombshell. And I don't know if you've seen this video. I'm going to play it because Tim Burchett's not really a bullshit type of guy. And he's not really a beat around the bush type of guy. And I'm going to play this. This is from TMZ, and I'm sure they're going to yell at us for playing this. But I think this is important because it was absolutely unbelievable what he said.
Now, I guess it would be about 2 weeks ago. That was very alarming, the way you said that, at least.
Yeah, well, because of the circumstances and where it was, I can't get into too much specifics, but it was elaborating on some stuff that we'd asked for, and it was important to get this person in a secure setting to where we could ask him these questions. And there was somebody in the meeting with us, one of my colleagues, I guess you'd say, was basically there just to kind of upset the apple cart and to throw, a monkey wrench into the deal. And every time a question was asked by this particular party, it was really the answers were out there, and they gave them, and they gave specifics, they gave addresses, they gave times and dates and people that were in the meeting. And this went all the way up to the executive branch of previous presidents, not this current president.
So what he's talking about there is the existence of aliens and humans' interactions with aliens. The segment.
Are we talking about with Listening Post Studio?
He actually said in the interview, and I don't want to play the whole thing because we'll get the copyright strike. He actually said, for the record, I'm not suicidal. Which,
that's usually an indicator.
Tim Burchett's not an alarmist per se. So for him to say that, I thought was kind of amazing. And so he said that to them. And then there's another one I want to play from Newsmax that's kind of more on point. And this was after, I don't know if you heard, Matt Gaetz made some conversations. Yes, very excited about the moon mission mailer soon. Matt Gaetz made some accusations of, hey, we know a lot more about aliens than you think. As a matter of fact, we've done studies on them and with them, and people said, oh, it's Matt Gaetz. He's no longer, he's just trying to claim relevancy. Tim Burchett goes on Newsmax and he says this.
Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how you react to that, because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said.
Stop right there. I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment on what was said. The conversation
because there's a skiff involved.
Yeah. And the conversation was Matt Gaetz claiming the military is breeding aliens and humans together.
But I will say this.
Wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this: if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it.
Maybe we already are.
So, and I know I already saw, was it 3 rand something, so Newsmax, the gold standard. The simple fact of the matter is you have a sitting member of Congress who's saying this. It's not the source. You're attacking the source, but the reality of the situation is the sitting member of Congress saying this.
That is amazing.
Unbelievably amazing on something that was pretty out of pocket for Matt Gaetz to say originally. And a lot of people said, oh, like I said earlier, oh, it's Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz is just looking for attention. And then you have Tim Burchett, who's a pretty no-nonsense dude. If you've ever seen his interviews, if you've ever followed him on social media, he's a pretty no-nonsense guy, and he gets straight to the point with everything. And for him to say that in regards to that conversation was absolutely bizarre. And, you know, we've seen a lot of evidence over the last couple of years. I always love the comments. This is from Listening Post. I'm trying to breed with a certain former prime minister of Finland and our new friends in Japan.
Well, here, let me give you one back. Christina Koch has officially become the furthest any woman has ever traveled from the kitchen.
I mean, technically not wrong.
I am technically not wrong.
So let's talk about Artemis. Artemis
has actually gone the furthest any human has ever gone from the planet Earth, which is absolutely amazing. I know that they went through the blackout period for 2.5 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
which was
how
nice.
frightening is that?
Right, 2.5 hours of cut off from planet or from all communication. Like, wow.
Well, and I can't imagine this. I can only like discuss this and pretend I can imagine this, because I would think that space is one of those things that unless you've been there, you can't imagine it, right? I mean, you can speculate, you can't imagine it.
See, I'm of the mindset of 2.5 hours of complete fucking silence.
Sounds amazing.
Right? Amazing.
Except
could you all just shut the fuck up for 2.5 hours, please?
You're stuffed in this aircraft, and astronauts before have done this, but you're stuffed in this aircraft. You're on this giant bomb that's just directed, essentially. You get sent up to space. You get pointed at the moon. You hit Earth's orbit for a little bit, and then you're like, yeah, fuck this, we're out. You blast out of that orbit, and you start heading for the moon, which is essentially what they did. Yeah, peace out, let's go. Right. And then they hit and start hitting the lunar orbit, and they go around the dark side of the moon, the side that we have never really spent a lot of time on. And that's your only connection to everything that you've known is that radio. I mean, it's not a radio now, but right?
I get you.
And all of a sudden it's like, all right, we'll talk to you in like 2.5 hours. We're all going to go out and get lunch while you guys just float on the other side of the moon.
Peace out.
Just the balls and uterus, I don't know what else to put it, the tits, the balls and the tits on those astronauts to be like, yeah, we're going for it, is pretty immense. And all of them, don't get me wrong, all of them are pretty intense. But that specifically, because if something happens on the backside, we may never know. I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm not a rocket scientist. But what happened if that thing went south on the backside of it and we never had answers?
More importantly, did she like make them stop and ask for directions?
Hey, guys. So congratulations to the Artemis 2 crew. 252,760 miles from Earth.
Jesus.
I know. Right? And I bitch when I get to go
amazing
road to handle business.
That was a record held by Jim Lovell for how many years? 57 years?
50 years. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
And apparently they had a message from Lovell when they came back from the dark side. There was a message that had been recorded. I don't know if it was live. I don't know if he recorded it years ago for the When This Happens type thing, but that was played from Lovell and I think 2 other astronauts too, which I thought was really cool in class. And NASA always
it went something like this: "Go fuck yourself. We still are awesome."
Yeah. Call me back when you touch down. You know.
Call me back when you actually walk on the moon.
Yeah, no shit.
You're driving too fast.
I got a bitchin' free Corvette. What'd you get? A lot of people
Call me back when you actually have to manually land that thing.
Yeah, because, dude, somebody asked if I'm excited or if we're excited about going back to them. I think it's the coolest shit ever. I do think it's pretty awesome. I think showing American ingenuity and showing American know-how and just being awesome as our nation can be when it's allowed to be really makes me freaking happy. I want to know, I think the other thing is, how cool would it be, because it's next year we're going back to the moon, 27. How cool would it be if we land on the moon and the lunar rover was there and it still had power?
Oh, dude.
I wouldn't care how much trouble I'd got into if they're like, well, we haven't cleared you for that because of the potential. I'm like, nope, taking the lunar rover for a drive.
Dude,
sorry.
I'd be doing like wheelies and shit in that thing. I mean, come on. I'd be like up on the sides. I'd be like,
I was correct.
You know what?
On the moon landing.
Oh, dude, I'd be taking that over the side of a crater.
Just four-wheeling, man. Just four-wheeling. Good stuff. And seriously, hats off for them, even if they had to stop and ask for directions.
Right?
Excuse
me, a reptilian person. Is it this way to the Lake of Tranquility?
Man. I was reading through some of the chats, and they also lined the capsule with silver, so the Canadian also felt at home. Man, chat can be absolutely hysterical sometimes. Oh, it's awesome. But look,
that's why I always open up my phone lines. You should do it too.
So when everyone says, "Oh, we shit on Canadians," and no, we don't have a good relationship with the Canadians. We just took them to the other side of the fucking moon,
right?
Like, bro,
exactly.
We let you catch a ride. I mean,
granted, we made them carry the baggage, but you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he had to bring extra maple syrup for everybody, but that's not the point. The point is, we brought you along.
Delicious.
Delicious. There's rumors that he's the one that stopped up the toilet. I don't know if that's true or not. But you know, too many. They're not bear claws up there. What are they called up there? The big
Benoit balls.
Yeah. I'm out. Once you start talking about Benoit balls.
You said it first, and then I just went with it.
Oh boy, I was thinking of beignets.
Benoit, whatever. You got it.
Beaver tails. And you know what? Now that I say that, I know that's not going to get any better.
It's a beaver tail. Yeah, whatever.
We're done. Lyle, my friend, sir, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, your insight on the rescue of the airmen was top notch and absolutely valuable, and I really appreciate you being here for it. And
Thank
obviously,
you,
your service to our nation is really appreciated, no matter how many times those fuckers try to blow you up.
Yeah, they keep coming. I keep living.
You can check him out every Friday, Saturday. Bjorn Bolstein right here on SHR Media, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 on the East Coast. And the more you watch in real time, the longer the goatee gets. Lyle, thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you so much for having me, brother.
Appreciate you. Folks, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me this evening on SHR Media. Let me get rid of him. I can't stare at him any longer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast. And it's not just me. You saw Lyle, but there's other great shows on SHR Media. As I said before, and I'm going to put this up front, the alien who we talked about potentially was being used to breed humans. The Lost Wanderer is going to slowly come back and will be on SHR Media Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we look forward to that. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon on the East Coast. You have Mission Ready Men with my man Big E. Tuesday, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast. You have BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Monday and Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 on the East Coast. When he actually has fucking power, you have River of Common Sense with Jersey Joe, and we appreciate that as well. Folks, check out shrmedia.com. You can grab the merch. You can grab the shirts, including this one, the 250th anniversary, or 250 reasons, if you will. Where is it? There it is. To read source documents, you can get that at shrmedia.com. Just click on the shirt on the top. Oh, there we go. There I am. That's it for me. Special thanks to KLRN Radio for simulcasting. I'll see you Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Pacific. Take care.